Hello, welcome back to Tail Tree Cabins. I'm heading down to Southern Ohio. We finished our RV trip. We got back. The RV trip, as you know, we had some hiccups here and there, especially with the generator on the truck. I still haven't got that looked into. I can tell you that I still get a warning on the screen here that I'm supplying some kind of power to the built-in generator, but I'm not. I still need to see the dealer on that. But I did do a full video on why I was disappointed with the generator, why I don't recommend buying it at this time. Last time I was down here in Southern Ohio, I kind of had to rush out of here. We were leaving on this RV trip. Our first destination was just to go directly to the Shenandoah National Park. So we went there for 3 days and it was basically a bust. It rained the whole time we were there. We had maybe about 5-6 hours where things cleared out a little bit and we could go enjoy some of the overlooks. But for the most part, it just rained continuously. Really glad we did not have our previous trailer that had the canvas bunk ends. I did talk about some of the issues with the generator of the truck and being off grid for that period of time. Once we left Shenandoah, we moved east a little bit and we went to Monticello. If you've never been there, I recommend going there. It's a very nice historic piece of property.
This is a waiting room at like the dentist's office, right? When Jefferson decides while you're waiting, you might as well have something to do, read, look at the maps. Maybe these are things that you've never seen before. Keep in mind, this is British colonial American. People had not traveled probably without a 5-mile radius of where they live. So seeing all of these different things would have been very.
Might have gone there when you were a kid, when you were in junior high or maybe high school. I got to say, when I was there, I just was not of the age where I would appreciate such a thing. Probably more concerned during a field trip on who you're going to sit next to on the bus rather than the actual historical value that is happening all around you when you go visit something like that. But I do recommend, if you have a chance to visit it, it's well worth the price of admission. We just got the basic ticket that took us through the first floor and around the grounds with tour guides along the way. And it's a very beautiful piece of property. Karen and I both enjoy history very much, especially American history. From Monticello, we continued east and we went over to the historic triangle, which is basically Jamestown, Yorktown, and Williamsburg. So our first stop was Williamsburg. Again, Karen had been there many years ago, and I think I went there again in high school. It had been a long time since we visited those areas. A few changes. I didn't realize that Williamsburg itself is really just an open community set in colonial times. But there's no gates, there's no confinements. Anybody can really walk around Williamsburg. You don't need to buy a ticket for it. There are just certain buildings and areas that require a ticket. So if you want to go into the palace, if you want to visit certain areas that have a flag out front, those will require a ticket. Courthouse, various other places. But if you just want to walk around Williamsburg, kind of get a feel for it, you can see what it's like to march. You could see what it's like to shoot off a musket.
18th century, the term firelock was their general term for a firearm, or what we might call a gun today. So just kind of a general term for any small arm that goes boom. A small bit of gunpowder, once our flint strikes steel, it generates sparks, and those sparks are going to light off the gunpowder inside this pan.
Ready! Raise up! Fire!
Once the weapon is discharged, we go immediately back to the loading position. Here, we are ready to begin the whole loading process once again. With that being said, we will simply wait patiently, awaiting that command of fire and load.
So all those things are free, and you can just do that by walking around. They schedule it throughout the day. And then if you want to enjoy more of the buildings and the history, well, then you can get a ticket. But I think if we were to go again, I think we would just go without a ticket, walk around the facilities. There's a nice eating areas on the outskirts of Williamsburg, more into the actual city itself, where it's a little bit more social. And then we visited a battlefield, Yorktown, just over around there. Same thing with Jamestown. All in all, a nice trip. A little wet at the beginning, a little wet towards the end, but what are you gonna do? So now I'm heading back down to Southern Ohio. If you remember last time I was down here, I was trying to waterproof the riser on my water tank. I had a pretty good start with it. Got a couple coats of waterproofing on there. It was supposed to cure for 24 hours, and I think it cured for about 6 before it started pouring like crazy and got wet. And I just did not have the time to complete the job because of our RV trip. So now I'm heading back down. I don't know what things are like. I don't know how much it's rained since I've been down there. I don't know if mud has re-infiltrated where the water tank is. The plan here is to try to clean it up a little bit and put a couple more coats of waterproofing on there. It's not supposed to rain today, tomorrow, or the next day. So I think if I can get a good 3-4 coats on it, and then what I'll do is I'll put some drain tile. I already went to Menards, picked up some 3-inch pipe with perforations in there. I'm gonna lay some of that down. I'm gonna have to go into town and get a load of stone, probably about a half ton. I'll have them put that in the truck once I got a couple coats of this waterproofing in. Crossing my fingers that I'll get a bunch of this accomplished. I don't think I'm going to be able to clean out the water tank this trip. I've been kind of coming down here solo because I don't want to invite somebody to come and help me with the water situation, with the water being dirty, because I want, if people come down, I want them to be able to take showers, you know, do dishes, and just have decent, clean running water, and not have to live a little bit primitively like I am. Probably gonna break out the sun shower still. Hopefully make some headway here. And also, I don't wanna clean out the water tank by myself because you're going down in a little confined spaced area. Though I don't think the air is gonna be contaminated in that water tank. I don't think anything can leach or any pockets of gas or methane can get in there. But working in a little confined space like that, you don't wanna do it by yourself. You wanna have somebody up top just in case something were to happen. There's hazards with low oxygen in the tank. There's hazards with possibly getting electrocuted because I do use a shop vac in there to clean things up. Same thing with the sump pump. So something I don't want to do by myself, rather be safe than sorry. So if I get everything accomplished, I'll come back down with a friend, clean out that tank, and then I'm gonna put this truck to work and see just how much I can handle with it. I'm going to try to put a ton of water in the back. I do a couple deliveries using the truck itself before I decide to spend any hard-earned cash on getting a water delivery again. So that's where we're at right now. I'll see you when I get there. All right, it's not terrible. The canopy lasted. I thought maybe I'd come here and find a canopy strewn into the woods or something because of a windy storm, but it stayed here. I did lower it before I left. I raised it back up now. I got a little bit of mud here encroaching that I'm just gonna clean up, and then I'm not gonna get crazy with the pressure washer. I didn't bring it this time, but I'm just gonna use a light hose. Water is still dirty. I thought maybe being gone for 3 weeks that it would have settled. all that sediment would have just settled to the bottom, but it still looks dirty in there. So. One of those things, if you mess with it too much, you're just going to keep getting mud in here. I get mud on my shoes. I'm going to let this dry out a little bit. Come back, follow it up with the bucket and just a brush, and then towel it all off. And then that's going to have to be good enough. While I'm waiting for this to dry so I can add another coat, it's going to give me some time to work on some other chores. Normally I would be conserving water, but I really need to use up all the water in that tank, so I have no problem rinsing off the lawnmowers and UTV down here, because I have a water surplus right now, dirty water surplus. Now yesterday when I came out, there was a possibility of seeing northern lights. Of course, the more north you are, the better it is. They were saying the chances were so good, it could still be in the mid-latitude state. Looking at the numbers, it looks like the geomagnetic storm that they were predicting actually arrived early during the daytime. It was kind of a bust in the evening, but I still set up a couple cameras, was able to get a couple nice time lapses. Good morning. So I got one coat on it yesterday, and I'm just going to keep on putting coats on until this is all gone. The plan is to get at least 3 on today. Usually my first day, I try to take a shower at home before I leave, and I try not to get too sweaty while I'm doing stuff here the first day. So I did not take a shower yesterday. Today, I'm going to get a little bit sweaty weed whacking. I'm going to get dirty weed whacking, and then I'll take a shower later on this evening. Then once I get a coat on here, I think I'm going to pull JD out. I have a lot of large stones that I've been keeping off to the side, and I think I'm going to put them as a liner in our parking area. It doesn't say boulder crusher on the side of this implement, which is making it very difficult for me to grab some large rocks. I think if they were a little bit rounder, kind of like a log, I'd have no problem picking them up. gave it a good effort with the brush crusher and I went up and just switched back to the bucket. I thought I had forks with me and I did not bring those down. Those are still back in northern Ohio. Nope. Yeah, that is not where I wanted it to go. Well, this is kind of ridiculous. I thought maybe I could manhandle them with the loader bucket, but they're just sliding around. They're too heavy for me to try to spin them onto the loader bucket themselves, and I really just don't have the right tool for the job that I'm looking at right now. So I'm just going to have to wait. Next time I bring the tractor down, I could have swore I had the forks down here with me. I'm thinking now to myself that I thought if I needed them, that would be easy to just throw them in the back of the truck and not having to put them on the trailer. So they're probably still up in northern Ohio. I think this is a job more for the forks than anything else. And then the brush crusher would probably be next and the loader bucket last. This just isn't working. There's a bunch of stones here. There's a whole bunch more up close to where the water tank is that might be a little precarious for the tractor, but that's just going to have to wait for another day. I'm almost due for another coat, so I'm going to go back up top and prep for that. All right, that was coat number 3. And we're going to let this cure hopefully for about 24 hours. I'm going to go do some weed whacking right now, and then I'm going to hit the sun showers first thing in the morning. I'm going to go pick up some stone, and hopefully we could wrap up the major part of this project tomorrow, and then we just have to worry about cleaning the tank out. I mentioned earlier that I bought this ice guard, and I got it pretty cheap. It's called like Factory Seconds, but it really looks like a regular roll of ice guard. Got it for about $40. Now the purpose of this is really not for any sort of waterproofing. It's really just to keep from damaging the tar, like scoring it or scratching it or gouging it when we start putting rocks on top. Truck is emptied out. Gravel is laid down. I've seen a couple comments on the previous video saying that I should fill this all in with gravel. And to that I say, no way. It's about 87 degrees right now. Sun's beating down. I kind of waited till it got a little shadier over here later in the afternoon to try to finish this up. But it's pretty warm. Enough shoveling for me, and I cannot see shoveling another ton or so of gravel. I was trying to figure out different ways to maybe get JD to help, where I'd shovel it into the bucket, and it was just easier just to use the 5-gallon pail to get the stone where I wanted it, and then just shovel it off the back end of the truck. But that's where we're at. I'm gonna see if I got time. I have to bring JD home. I'm kind of running short on time again, but I got all the grass cut, weed whacked. I'm gonna have to bring JD home on this trip. I'm leaving first thing in the morning. We have to take our RV to the RV dealer for warranty work. So I'll be trailing JD home, unhook that trailer, hook up our other trailer, and then take the RV to the dealer. So a little bit of a busy day tomorrow. I'm hoping I can get JD back in here and fill in a little bit of this dirt. I know some people made comments to just make this all stone and don't put dirt back there, but I guess I could have called for a stone delivery, but the way I did it here is I went into town. It was less than 20 bucks to get a load of stone, shovel it by hand. It's done. And there you have it. Hopefully we could start getting back to some just normal work and chores that we have to do around here. All right, it's a hot one today, not even noon, and we're up to 85 degrees here. I got everything loaded early, and I'm bringing JD back home for a little while. Next time I come down here, I'll probably have to clean out that water tank and just a few odds and ends down here, mostly hang out with the UTV and do chores around the house. But that is going to do it for today. I appreciate everybody watching. Hope you enjoy and subscribe to these videos. Click on that little bell when you want to know when a new one is coming out. And keep an eye on us. Take care, everybody.